Hi guys, my name is Ben, and today we're going to be doing a quick session on ACP, which stands for the Agent Client Protocol. The short version is that where you work and what does the work are two separate choices, and you get to make them independently. By the end of this, you'll have run the same task twice, once from the desktop app and once from the terminal, and you'll have seen why that matters. So let's begin. Here is the whole idea of ACP on one slide. On the left, we have clients. That's the thing you sit in front of. On the right, we have agents. That's the thing that's doing the work. We ship two clients, Poolside Agent for desktop, which is the dedicated ACP client, and Pool, our CLI, which is also an ACP client. People tend to miss that second one. The CLI isn't just a way to talk to the Poolside agent, it's a general ACP client. On the agent side, you've got Poolside Agent, Claude Agent, Codex, Gemini, and anything else that speaks to the protocol. Because both sides speak to the same protocol, you can connect any client to any agent. Change your client, your agent comes with you. Change your agent, your client doesn't care. You aren't locked into a harness because of the model you like. You aren't locked into a model because of the harness you like. So what is ACP actually getting for you day to day? Let's check these four things on the side. Parallel sessions. Every session runs in its own Git work tree on its own branch. So you can have one agent refactoring, one writing tests, one chasing a bug, all at the same time. And they aren't stepping on each other's files or toes. That's a real workflow change, not a convenience feature. You can have multiple projects in one window. You can switch between repos in the same application, each with its own settings, agent, and model defaults. No stack of windows, no reconfiguring every time you move code bases. You can have agent handoff with the history intact. This is the ACP payoff made concrete. Mid conversation, you can move the same thread to a different agent, and the new agent reads everything that came before and picks up from your next message. You aren't re-explaining the task every time. Our GitHub integration also is quite handy. You can connect it under your settings within GitHub, and you can get pull request awareness within the application, including status colors, surface CI, and review state. You can see where a branch stands without leaving the session. Two more pointers for consideration on what you get. You have MCP connectors out of the box straight away with GitHub, Hugging Face, PostgreSQL. That's the agent running into the systems that work actually lives in. Our ACP also runs quite well on Mac. So you have on-device model support for local inference, so the code doesn't leave your machine. Now I'm going to do a quick live exercise where I'm going to open the desktop app, open a project, and run one small task end to end. Okay, so let's go on ahead and let's go to the actual download link, which will be provided to you guys, -downloads -desktop. Press enter. Now, it should download straight away. No sign in is needed at this stage. Standard procedure, make sure that you drag your Poolside over to your applications, and it should then come up within your applications. Also, make sure to eject the .dmg file once you've done this. Now, on first launch, you're going to get an empty state. So let's just run through this process. Okay, now that we have the application open, what you can do is that you can go in and you can select whatever repo that you have. I'm going to use this random one that I've made for the sake of this presentation. Now, what you will do is, if it's your first time actually going through this, it'll more than likely ask you to log in. We provided some examples on how to previously log in before. You can see them in our previous tutorials, which I'll link below, or we'll link at the end of the video. As we can see, it is currently talking to us. Now, the good thing about this is that then within the ACP, you can go here and see a multitude of different configurations that you can do. You can check the skills that have already been provided by Poolside or your own unique skills that you've configured. For the sake of this, let's go ahead and change our model. I mean, I'm currently using S, but let's just change this up. You can also turn around and actually give the instructions on how you want your tool calls to run. So you can, for example, if you wanted to always ask before running commands, you could do that. You can accept edits, or you can allow all if you want to just let the process run. I am going to pull up a pretty generic prompt for the sake of this tutorial. Essentially what this will do is it will explain what the repo does and how a request flows through it. Then write a short architecture.markdown summarizing it. Now, I do apologize because this is going to show how crummy of a coder I am. But as you can see, it's running through the thoughts and it's going to start giving some information back. And it'll show you its step-by-step processes on what it's thinking of and what it's doing. By the end of it, we can see that Poolside has explained what the repository is, how requests flow through it, and it's provided us with an architecture.markdown file where we can see all of the different information that'll be helpful in our use cases. Depending on how much automation you want here, I'd recommend selecting maybe something along the lines of allowing edits, or if you want to be really stringent with it, don't auto approve. Now, let's do the same task from the same repository from the CLI with the same agent behind it. What I want you to notice is that the session is the same session. The approvals are the same approvals. And the only thing that changed is the surface that you're going to be driving it from. That's the whole point of this deck and this next exercise. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's now check this out, how we can do this within our own CLIs. Similar situation, you can follow the installation tutorials that we have online or the previous videos where I've shown you how to install Pool within your CLI. Usually what you'll do is that you'll hit Pool login and then select the login method similar to what I'd previously shown. But in this case, let's just validate the Poolside version just to make sure that things are the same. As you can see, we're running 1.0.15. What I'll do is that I'll start a session in its own worktree and branch. So what this is essentially what's mirroring what the desktop app was doing for me. Plain old Pool will also work in this case as well too. Let's give it the exact same prompt that we've given it previously. And you will see that it is going to run through all the different processes. Now, I'm happy that I don't have the always allow option here, so I can show you that at each step, you can either allow once or you can always allow, in this case, CD, and it'll kind of work through its thought processes and get status, for example, and you can keep clicking these. So this ensures that at every step you have control and you can see what it's running. Or if you want to let it run by itself, you can absolutely do that. As we can see, there's going to be some edits for this session. I'm going to hit accept. And now it should output the exact same thing that we had within the ACP application, as we can see now. Fun kind of things to note, you can hit dash and you can select your different skills, usages, you can select the model that's being used. But for the sake of this presentation, I wanted to show you that the ACP application and the CLI are the exact same. In the desktop app settings and agents, you'll see agents tested by Poolside and other third-party agents from the public registry. If it's not in the registry, then it's an assistant.json. You can see the various config paths we have for Mac OS and Linux here and Windows too. Just also, it is worth noting that it's strictly JSON, no comments, and make sure to restart the app after a manual edit. If you malformat, the app doesn't die. It keeps the last good config and it shows you an error with a retry. Let's reiterate how you can use it. You've got 3 doors in. The Poolside Agent CLI, Pool for interactive sessions, and Pool Exec for one-shot tasks in scripts and CI. The OpenAI compatible API, for example, the OpenAI-V1 endpoint that we have when you're calling models from your own tools and services, and ACP compatible editors, which connect via the CLI. What it's good at, there's 4 strengths that I feel like are worth naming here. Foundation models built for software engineering, not really general chat models with a code flavor. We also have agentic workflows that plan, implement, and iterate, not single shot completion. It's also good for extensible context, for agent instructions, skills, and MCP servers, and controlled execution. Approval prompts, tool permission, sandboxing. It lasts before it acts, and you decide how much rope it gets as per the demonstration previous. I think it's worth bringing up some common use cases where teams have actually landed with Poolside. A lot of teams would use it to explain unfamiliar or legacy code, which is usually the first thing people try and the fastest win. They'll use it for generating and running tests, translating and migrating legacy code, investigating incidents and proposing fixes, and enforcing internal standards using your own documentation and policies, which is the one that compounds. The agent applies your rules, and that's it. One protocol, two clients, any agent. I hope this presentation and demonstration was clear. My name is Ben, and this has been my presentation. Thank you all very much, and goodbye.